Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shorty Gorham Show. I'm your host, Shorty Gorham, along with my great friend, Chris Powell. You're listening to episode number 3 of the Shorty Gorham Show. We got some great guests on the show today that's going to lead up into a future episode. So I'll just call this part number 1 of episode number 3. Chris, how the hell you been doing here lately?
I've been good. It's part number 1 of Let's Go Bear Hunting. That's what
Yeah.
this thing's called. Let's go bear hunting. And I'm not going to be able to go bear hunting, that's for sure. I'm going to be grounded for a few weeks because of the wife having a kind of a critical surgery out there. So if anybody's listening to this and is so inclined, we could use your prayers on the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And yep. So I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss one of my favorite dates of the whole year coming
August
up.
16th. August 16th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, every year August 16th is a special date, and we're gonna miss you here. I mean, we will, but we won't. You know, we're not gonna slow down because you're not here or anything like that. But
I wouldn't want anything less.
We'll probably toast to you on maybe the 15th or 16th, something, I don't know. But we will toast to you. We'll remember you not being able to be here. And hey, good for you. Stay home. Take care of your lovely wife, and we'll see you when you're able to get back out here to New Mexico.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. It's one of those things. I've spent a lot of my life spending the grocery money on these dogs and stuff. And as I get older, then I find out that some things are you gotta prioritize this stuff, man. I've always wanted to do a podcast with my wife and talk about what it takes to support
your wife.
a houndsman. Oh yeah,
no,
my wife.
Yeah, what does it take to be your wife? I think that'd be a great podcast.
Huge commitment by these ladies that do that.
Absolutely.
And she's, some guys have wives and girlfriends that hunt with them and stuff. My wife's been with me a few times, but that's not her bag. So
only in all those years, only a few times.
Yeah, just a couple times, just a few, very few times. I mean, we used to go to plot days and stuff together, and
you're talking hound hunting still.
Oh yeah,
I got you. Okay, I got you.
Well, I've only got 3 kids, Shorty. So
that would be a few.
Yeah, she's part Quaker, so yeah, that ought to tell you something.
I got you.
I'm married a Puritan.
Hey, just as much time as you've been able to come out and spend just with me here on the ranch, and I know you've gone and spent time with a lot of other houndsmen across the country doing what you do, and not you absolutely have a saint of a wife, and God bless her, and you're a lucky man to have her as your better half, Chris.
You're not going to get any arguments out of me, man. And the older I get, the more I value her and realize, what she's done and different things. So not going to get any arguments out of me on that. So there you go.
Heck yeah. Well, moving on, Chris, we got a little bit of rain yesterday, a little bit last night. Oh, well, in fact, we got about a quarter inch. And you'll know, some of the other folks won't know. Our guests will know who are listening in the background. The crowfoot, we got a quarter inch yesterday, a quarter inch last night. At the headquarters, we got a quarter inch yesterday, a quarter inch last night. I was unable to go check the pivot there on the county road, but I did check it on my way down here. We had a half inch over 2 days. So we got about a quarter inch spread across the ranch over the last 2 days. So things are looking good, and it's cooling off. Like the last couple of days, or the first couple of days, Chris, that I've actually felt that it's starting to feel like fall. I know it's August, awesome. But we're getting there. I think, I think the bear season is going to be a heck of a lot cooler by 5 to 8 degrees cooler than it was last year. So
that'll be good.
Oh yeah.
Get after it.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a good fun time, and we're looking forward to it. And I got to You'd think, if I'd ever been on a podcast before, I'd learned to turn my ringer off on my cell phone. But hey,
I
it's
didn't even
amateur.
hear it, so we're good. We're good.
Okay, good deal.
I'll-
Good deal. But
yeah, it's that Paloma Ranch. What's the weather look like for the week coming up, leading into the bear season, which starts this week?
I will read you the weather. So we are looking at starting on August 16th. It's going to be, the 15th is going to be 82 degrees
That's cool.
and 59 at night. And
Oh,
then it's going to go to 87, 62. Going to jump a little bit. Actually, the forecast has gone a little bit hotter than it was the last time I looked at it, but it's going to go 87, 62, 92, 63, 90, 62, 89, 60, 88, 60. So it's going to be, upper 80s, lower 90s. But the good thing over here, that's not going to hit until about 11
later.
o'clock in the afternoon. And by that time,
Mm-hmm.
we should already have our bears caught and tagged out. So no big worries there. And something we'll talk about here in a little bit, like the dogs that we have coming here and the dogs that we already have here, they're fit as a fiddle. They're hard and in shape. So
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't. Oh yeah, no, they're doing good. So I don't expect any struggles from the hounds. And then, I think something that we're going to do this year, I've already got it all loaded up in the buggy, ready to go. Is something that you've been doing for quite a while. Is using the dogs are treed formula for the pre-hunt and the post-hunt. And I know I've used it in the past on my own dogs. And when people say your own dogs, I don't particularly have bear dogs. Chris was generous enough to leave his bear dogs out here with me. Our two guests that are about to come on here in a minute will be the main houndsmen on this deal. I don't have bear dogs, but like I said, Chris has been generous enough to leave his dogs with me. But I've used that formula on my own dogs, and I have definitely seen the bounce back difference. There's definitely a difference in the recovery time when using that. The one thing I haven't used a whole heck of a lot is the pre-hunt, and that'll be interesting because it's supposed to make them run 1 or 2 degrees cooler. So
I'll tell you what, let me talk about that a little bit, because all the dogs that you've got out there right now are used to doing it. So if you'll go out there a half hour before you load them up and pre-bait all that water and use the stage one.
How am I pre-baiting it?
So what I normally do is just gather up all their water dishes or the feed. I use their feed bowls for this. I'll bring them all over and just put a little bit of feed in there, and then put a pint of water in there with it, a pint to a quart. I'm not measuring it.
Sure.
But every one of those dogs know that in the morning that they need to drink that. So water baiting is just simply using whatever you've got to use to get those dogs to drink that water. And
you've mentioned cat food.
I have used canned cat food in the past. Like when I'm trying to get a dog into the routine of doing it, I'll take a can of canned cat food and just put a teaspoon or a tablespoon in a gallon jug of water and shake that dude up. Add the stage one of dogs are hydrated in there, and then I'll use that gallon of water to get them drinking. And I keep doing that, and I do it every day before I take them out for their morning run. And they know when I come down to the dog yard, they already know. It's like, here it comes. We're going. And I think they drink because they're excited. They know that's part of their routine. It's like, I got to do this before I get in that dog box and I go out for my run this morning. And they just slurp it down, and they'll drink every bit that you put in there. And it doesn't hurt a thing. If you can get a quart in them in the morning of the stage one, go back. I think it's episode 36 of the Houndsman XP podcast, and listen to that thing with Dr. Arlie Reynolds. The sled dog guys have been doing this for
one of my
50 years.
one of my favorite episodes that you've ever done of anything, and I've listened to it probably 4 or 5 times. That honestly, like that is one of the most informative episodes I've ever listened to that you've ever done. If you guys are listening,
All the
and
rest of them had just been a bunch of
you're
bull
just
crap.
well, yeah, I mean, but that one actually had some good information in it. But no, honestly, like if you eh, honestly, like my curious mind has even got to think like, does this work in horses? Does it work in humans? Like
It works in humans
where?
for sure.
So where does it end? You know,
Yeah.
but I would encourage everybody who hasn't listened to that episode, definitely go check it out. It is worth the listen. I've not been diligent about doing both steps. I've done step
Mhm.
2, but I do know step 1 is just as
Step 1 is
important.
crucial. It's
Yes. Yeah.
crucial. Step 2 doesn't work nearly as good if you don't use step 1. So
Right.
to give
And
you a just a 30,000-foot view, if I can take 2 minutes and explain it.
take 4.
So, step 1, okay, so you're putting the stage 1 in there, that Dogs Are Hydrated product, and according to Arlie Reynolds, he's a 2-time world champion sled dog racer. He was the chief nutritionist at Purina. He taught, he was a professor for veterinary science at, uh, he started out at Brown University and then went to Alaska because of the sled dog stuff. So, this is what he found through all his research. When he loads at step 1, then what that does is it turns that water in, it puts glycerol in their system and glycerin. And what that does is it carries the water molecule to the muscle
Correct.
and it thins the cells, the red blood cells, so that it can transport that water to the muscle and keeps that muscle hydrated after a hard run. So, for instance, you're talking about, when we're hunting on the Paloma out there, it's not unusual to tree one bear, go down the road and try to tree another bear.
Yep.
So as soon as you get that first run in, you bring them back, you put the water dishes down, and you rehydrate using the stage 2, which is a maltodextrin. I mean, that's what it is.
Yes.
And what that does is it gives them a carb load to rehydrate that muscle. That's all it is.
Right.
And
So
Dogs Are Treed makes it in a great package. It's already measured on the sides of the containers. Super easy to use.
not only that, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, he was also a marathon runner himself, wasn't he? Like
Yes,
he was an
yes.
athlete himself as well.
He's done
And
everything from measuring oxygen levels in the blood
right.
from sprinters to marathon runners, and then he started doing the same thing in dogs and
Yes.
all breeds of dogs. Bird
Yeah.
dogs, it works.
Right. And so what I've been doing here lately, and tell me if I'm crazy or not, I have the Dakota 283 3.5 and I have a 5.0, which are your watering dishes. So I've been
Yep.
pre-mixing it in those. And I know the stage 1 step 1 of the Dogs Are Hydrated is you need to keep it shook up, but you can
Mhm.
shake that 3.5 up, throw it down on the ground, and let them drink, and then after
That
the
should be
hunt,
your stage 2,
no, your stage 1 is
the glycerol.
the glycerol, yes,
Yep.
and then stage 2 afterwards, I have the 5.0 that I carry in the buggy the whole time, and
Mhm.
when we get back to the buggy, successful or not, I drop that thing down, and they know to go drink out of that. I've actually a lot of times when I was working, and I've had that 5.0 for a long time. When
Mhm.
I was working over in California, when I left the vehicle in the morning, I would just I would figure out where the shade was going to be in the afternoon when I got back to the truck. But I would leave on my mule with my dogs, and I would drop that 5.0 down where it would be in the shade when we got back, and go make my hunt. And then when I got back even toward the truck, the dogs would they'd go
They
way
were
ahead.
already there.
They're already there, and they drank,
Yep.
lapped it up, and it was just an easy deal. But that's that's a couple of good, easy systems that somebody should
100%.
be using.
The
In
only thing
fact,
that the
one of
only
our
thing I
guests,
do different,
go ahead.
the only thing I do different, Shorty, is I put individual water down in front of each dog before I ever let them off the chain in the morning. That's the only thing I do different. So either way, if you can get dogs drinking that
Right.
stage 1 and then rehydrate with the stage 2, your money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, and you just like things more complicated than I do. That's the only difference. But
Whatever.
one of our guests actually called us, and we're not going to tell you who's who quite yet, shortly. But yeah, one of our guests actually, we were talking on the phone, and they were out here last year, the two of them, and we're wondering what the drinking system that we carried on the buggy was last year, because it was so simple, and that was that
Yep.
was that Dakota 283 5.0. And I told them, I said, order it. Here's my address. Just have it shipped to the ranch, and it'll be here when you get here. So
Right.
it's a handy, really, really handy tool.
100%. It's easy to transport, and it's easy to use. So
absolutely. So, well, what do you say we get on to it and introduce these guys?
let's get it.
Where do you want to start?
Who-
Where do you want to
who
start
do you-
with the ugly one first, or the handsome one first? How
I'm
do you
gonna
want
start.
to start?
I'm gonna start with the ugly one first.
Oh, okay.
I thought it'd be him for sure.
Oh man.
Wasn't sure where he was going with this, guys. But anyways, hey guys, thanks for being here on the show. Wade Hollerman, Hunter Mecham, two of the greatest. I want to say greatest young houndsmen, because you guys are young, but I will just say is two of the greatest houndsmen in the country today. And I don't say that lightly. I mean it. I've got to hunt with you guys. I've got to watch your hounds, how you handle your hounds, how your hounds handle. And
I want to add something real quick.
Go ahead.
And I tell people, ask me all the time, because Hunter's a movie star with the Lionheart video, and Wade does all the work. I know that. To make yeah, look at Wade. He's like, yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's it. I'm the grunt.
So but I tell everybody, it's, man, what their dogs operate like. And I tell everybody, it's like, I'm telling you, I didn't see a single cheerleader in the box. If they got a rig strike and they open and they dump the box, everything's going. I mean,
Well,
I didn't see any cheerleaders.
You can go a step further with that, though, Chris. I think because I truly believe that your animals, whether it be a pet or a working animal, they act a lot like their owners. And there's not a cheerleader in the group at the hunting camp, especially with these two guys. And I can tell you right now, I've been an athlete most of my life, not in near as good a shape as I once was. But if you're gonna go keep up with these two guys in the woods, you better hump up and pack a lunch, because it's the real deal. These guys are hardcore hunters. They go after their hounds. Their hounds hunt as hard as they do. They hunt as hard as their hounds do. It's just an impressive thing to watch. We've had several houndsmen over here at the Paloma Ranch over the last few years. Not the last few years, over the last decade. But I can tell you, everybody from the ranch has been thoroughly impressed with the company of the three of you guys being here. Chris, that includes you, and y'all did a hell of a job last year, and I expect the same is going to happen this year. I know it is.
Yeah, we hope so. We appreciate that, Shorty.
So let me ask you guys this. So you guys are year-round hunters. Bear season kicks off here on the Paloma Ranch August 16th. I know because I've talked to you guys on the telephone and text and whatnot. But you guys have been getting ready to come here, getting dogs in shape, getting ready to pack your guys' vehicles to come over here. What are some of the things that goes into getting ready to go to not just this ranch, but if you were going to a lion hunting camp or a bear or whatever, what are some of the things that go into getting ready, getting yourself, your dogs prepared for what you guys are about to face? Start with you, Wade.
Well, first of all, just vehicle maintenance. I mean, getting our trucks, that's 500 miles over there to you guys. So we'll go through all of our trucks, oils, and just make sure all that's ready to go. And then same with our buggies. We hunt out of the buggies on your guys' place. So get them ready to go as well. And then just getting just all our hound gear up to date and just getting the dogs, keeping the dogs in shape. I mean, we hunted hard in May, and then June is kind of a slow month for us here in Utah, and just try to keep them dogs legged up as much as we can. You can line hunt, but the numbers down a little bit, so you can't just go find line every day. And then July, we started bear hunting again, and we've been hunting pretty hard, keeping them in bear shape for the ranch.
What do you? So just keeping the dogs in shape, and what do you consider keeping the dogs in shape? But then what do you consider like in bear shape? Like what is that?
I mean, I in June I roaded my dogs quite a bit, and I do an 8-mile circle with them, and the first couple bears I got on in July, just some little bears. I mean, them dogs weren't ready to run a 150-pound bear down through the wood. I mean, they just got behind, and they weren't in bear shape, you know. So there's a difference of just still going down a road versus up and down canyons and draws and things like that.
Just I know exactly what you mean, but Wade, just for people who are not hunters that are tuned in, what's a 150-pound bear versus a 350-pound bear? Why is that different?
Just a little bit, you know, little lighter, a little less fat on them, and they're lean, and they can flat out pick them up and lay them down. Sometimes a bigger bear might slow down and bay up, and it seems like them little bears just keep the engine on full bore the whole time, and sometimes them bears are actually harder to catch than a big boar.
So in the beginning of the season, Wade, that early part of the training season, do you prefer to get on the 350s or the runners?
It's so hot, we just got to pretty much start whatever you rig right off.
But I mean, if you're rolling down the road,
if you could have it how you could.
Yeah, if you could have it any way you want them, which one would you want?
Well, if I rigged a bear and had a big boar track here,
I can tell you
a little sow, and I'm going to go after the boar. But
see, I like hunting those. I like having those 100, 110s. I mean, I love that 110cc runner that just smokes.
Keep your dogs in shape.
Chris,
I would say a little more.
He doesn't care if it weighs 90 pounds or 390 pounds. He wants to be bait up in the brush somewhere.
That's right.
That's on the ground, no tree. Am I wrong, Wade?
Yeah, I like a bear fight.
It's kind of your jive.
Yeah, I like a bear fight, but this year I drew the runner card more than I did the big card, and I had some yearlings that are going to be dang glad to come to the Paloma and hopefully tree some, because they've been getting their butts outran. And
why though? Why do you like a bear fight, or what you call a bear fight? And describe a bear fight. We've been there, but describe it to people.
It's just action packed. Even Van said it on your podcast the other day. He likes to trail a dirt line and fight a bear, and I couldn't agree with him more. I mean, it was two opposites, but to me, those both things are the funnest to do with the dogs, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah. Well, we got your canyon saved for you. I haven't been in there.
Hunter asked me if that's where I was going opening morning, and I said,
I know. I already know
send you
exactly where you're going. Hunter, you and I will go somewhere else. But
yeah,
I stayed out of there when I was out there. I didn't go up that canyon at all. because I knew that's your favorite spot.
I like it.
Yep.
There'll be one.
I
in there
wanted to
for
get
me.
them tuned up. I wanted to get those bears in shape for you. It was too easy last year.
Yeah.
One thing about it
Yes,
in that canyon, you're going to catch some big bears, and they're going to be most of them on the ground. It's going to
Yeah,
be
that's
going to be fun. So, and that is because in all reality, Wade, you've hunted this ranch longer than I have. I've been here a year and a half now or whatever, but everybody knows that that's your preferred canyon. So we might change it to Wade's Canyon, but anyways, no, it's there waiting for you. There's plenty of big bear. There's a lot of acorns on the ground right now. Not on the ground, but in the trees and on the brush right now. So it ought to be good hunting in there. But
perfect.
Chris, what do you say we introduce our other guest?
The ugly one?
Yeah, the ugly one. And because we're internet miles away, because I'm pretty sure he could take both you and me. But
he can in the rough rocks, that's for sure. He showed that to me last year. We're diving off the rim there, and he looked at me. He's like, "Give me your leashes. I'll just catch your dogs for you." I said, "If I can't catch my own dogs, then I need to get rid of my dogs." And I regretted diving off that canyon rim with him. I can tell you that.
My favorite thing. Hey, and Hunter Mecham, hey, welcome to the show. We're going to talk a little bit about, but thanks for taking the time to be on here with us today.
Heck yeah! Thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah, and Hunter, how many generations are you houndsman? And I'm talking. I'm not talking. Not putting words in your mouth, but I'm not talking hobby houndsman. I'm not talking weekend houndsman. I'm talking your family is full of lifelong houndsmen.
Yeah. I'm fourth generation.
Fourth generation. Where did it start?
So my great grandpa was a government hunter, and he kind of started it, and then it passed it down from there. But we've made my grandpa, he made a living, my grandpa made a living, and my dad and uncle made a living, and now I'm making a living doing it too. So
yeah,
pretty lucky that way.
Yeah. And so the hounds that you're running today, would you consider them like direct lineage to your grandpa's dogs, or have you changed things up a little bit? Have you found any?
So the first legit dog my grandpa Stan ever had, every dog in our yard I can trace right back to him.
Yeah.
So that's about
You're good.
a breed.
I've actually had I had a female that come from your grandpa Stan, and by the time I got her, she was too old. I tried to breed her to one of my running dogs and couldn't get it done. But that would have been, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. But apparently, and you know how that deal works. She could have not been. But
yeah.
But anyway, so
There's a good chance he sent dogs all over the country. So
right. Yeah. So do you think? Have you because your grandpa, your dad, most of the people in your lineage have been primarily lion hunters. Would that be correct?
Yep. You know, my Uncle Clint, he really liked the bear deal, and he liked to fight a mean bear on the ground. But my dad,
he did.
He won't run a bear, and my grandpa, he ran him a little, but very little. And so me and Wade kind of got to be buddies, and he kind of got me into it, and helped me with the bear hunting a lot, because like I said, my dad wasn't interested in it. He wants everything straight lion dogs, and that's kind of how I was until my early 20s when I started running with Wade. And anyways, he kind of got me hooked on it.
Wade, you ruined him, Wade. You
I
ruined him.
No. I just trying to get him to trash off so I can get some better lion dogs.
So there you go. So what would be in your guys' opinion, what would be some of the differences that you can see between a legitimate, dry ground lion dog and a legitimate bear dog? What have you have you guys seen any holes in your pack? Have you seen any things that you would like to have that you don't have, or what, is there a difference?
Well, I know, and me and you talked about this the other day, Shorty, but for the most part, your Western dry ground lion dogs are, in my experience, a lot of them dogs are scared of a bear on the ground. It's just not that intensity and stuff hasn't been bred into them.
Yeah,
Well,
mine
and
mine
before I met
particularly.
Wade, that was, a lot of our dogs, they rig good. They would, I mean, they bay a bear decent, but not to the extent that Wade's does. They have a little more intensity and putting more pressure on them. And so I think it's really hard to find one that does both really good. But I think me and Wade are both really trying to. That's where we're trying to go with this deal, and I'd say we're doing pretty good. I'm really happy. I mean, I feel like we could catch a bear one day and go start a cold lion track the next day and catch the lion. And
Yeah,
that's my goal, and I'm pretty sure that's Wade's too.
Yeah. Well, you mopped up a lion in July here.
Yeah, I mean
So
it
can happen.
and I think a lot of your dry ground lion hunters that don't want to run bears, it's not that they probably wouldn't enjoy it, but it's when you're trying to catch lion and you're hunting bear in the summer.
yeah,
If you're cold trailing a lion and you come across a bear, I mean it's just
right.
they're going with the bear.
Yeah, especially if you're in a high density bear population. Like myself, I run lions, bobcat, and fox with my dogs, and a lot of people think I'm crazy because I do. It's what I like to do, but you know, um, if you're in a high density of one versus the other, you're gonna, especially with the bear and the lions, like you're gonna damn sure be
Right.
trailing the lion and go hit a bear and go off on it. Where I don't think the dogs do that so much on your varmints. Like if you are trailing a lion and you hit a bobcat track or you hit a fox track, they might not do it. But on the bear, I do know guys like yourselves, um, that will be trailing a lion and break off and go run a hot bear track time and time again. So
I don't think there's any way we could probably trail a lion up on the Paloma. It'd be dang hard to keep them dogs off a bear
yes, yeah,
With our
absolutely.
dogs.
with our dogs. Yeah.
No, correct. No, absolutely. Yeah, there's just too many. You're in a high bear density environment here, and which, speaking of bear density, in the past, here we've always run. Oh, what have we done? Weighed like six hunters and had a couple houndsmen on site, and it was blow and go because we had a quota of 51 in zone or in unit 57, and this year they've actually moved to zone 57, uh, um, or zone moved 57 into a different zone. We went from 51 bear quota to 108 because they put us in a different zone. So that's kind of a game changer for us. We're not going to have to be hammered down. Well, I mean, we're still going to hammer down like we always do, but I think it'd be fair to say we could be, which last year, my first year here, we didn't have to be very selective because everything we caught just seemed to be big mature boars. But I think we can be more selective this year and have a little more time to do things. It'll be a little more relaxed around camp, I think. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I think so for sure.
We'll be pretty busy for the first couple days though, but yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's a fun time. That's something for people that have never been here or whatever. We're gonna have, how many hunters are we gonna have at camp the first week, Wade? Wade's kind of in charge of the hunters, booking the hunters for us on the bear hunts. So
We
I'm
got
gonna lean on him.
We got 6 the first 5 days.
6 first 5 days. So yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be blowing and going. But But to give you an example, last year in 5 or 6 days, we caught like 20 bear. So
I think we caught 18.
18 was that? Yeah.
18,
Okay.
18 when we were done or something, and killed 7 mature boars.
Yeah. So it'll be wild and exciting and fast and furious and whatever for the first few days. But you think have that many hunters in camp all at the same time, it is very doable just because
Oh,
of the resources we have here.
yeah. I mean, they, uh, 11 o'clock opening morning, we could have that down to 3 if we have a good morning.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Then of course the stress is way off by then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yep. Is everybody
but
going to
yeah,
hunt the same way this year as we did last year? Are you Hunter, are you taking Mario?
I'll do whatever you boys tell me to do.
Or did you trade, or how are you
No,
we
you
doing
send Mario with me. I like on Mario.
that? So last year, I might have to play the part of Mario, but tell the story of the cave bear, because Mario's been working here on the ranch for 7 years now. Never been able to hunt bear with us. We send him with Hunter last year because Wade has been here hunting on the ranch for several years. He knew his way around. Mario knows his way around this ranch as good as anybody in the country. So Hunter got Mario, and you guys went and I don't remember what day it was, but you guys put a bear in a cave right off the get-go.
Yeah, second day. Yeah, we were right over by the pivot there and started a boar, and he ran clear back over there to the pavement and kind of bait around that black rim, and we watched him fight the dogs and stuff there for a while through them grassy oak patches up through there, and he finally bait up in that cave up there. So we got up there, and I asked Mario if he wanted to go in there and look at him, but he said it wasn't his deal. So,
so well, and you make that sound so simple because, I mean, you guys are mountain men. You really are, and you make it sound so simple. But just walking down the rim rock or the ledge that you guys were going to, the cave, Mario, he told me later. He said, I looked down and I thought, oh shit, I don't know about this. But he said, but Hunter was going like it was no big deal. So I had to man up and just follow Hunter. He said I was a nervous son of a gun just because of the ledge. And then he said we get to this cave, and there's the bear and the dogs are in the cave, and Hunter says, you want to come in? He said it. He didn't say it as politely as you did, but there was no way in hell you were going to pour Mario into that damn cave for no matter. But that was his that was his first experience bear hunting, and after that he loves it. He's looking forward to it. I just got to see Mario yesterday. I see him every day, but they were just at the county fair selling their cattle and stuff yesterday, and he's ready to get back here tomorrow and start scouting and getting ready to be hunter's guide.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah. So no, it's good times. He's had a great time being able to hunt with you guys, and the only thing I gotta keep hitting him with a stick every once in a while because y'all got him wanting to get dogs now. So there's only room for one set of dogs over here.
That's right.
Give him a pup or something.
Oh, so what would Hunter, we were just talking about the dogs and hunting the same line of dogs that your grandpa hunted and whatnot, and then you and Wade working on let's just call it a bear pack or whatever. Wade, what's some of the things? Let's just ask, what makes a good bear dog?
I mean, toughness is one of one of the first ones. I think they gotta, especially when you roll a bunch of hunters like we do. You know, you gotta have dogs that'll go every single day, and then you know, of course, you want a good bear dog or a good rig dog, and then which is people that don't know, they're gonna put them on top of the box, and they're gonna open, cut the dog loose, and they'll go.
They're,
You know, a good one.
they're going to
will
open
go,
when they smell bear scent. You're driving
Yeah,
down the road, they smell bear
Yep.
scent, and then the dogs open.
And then a good one. I mean,
Gotcha.
you know, the further out one will drift. You know, 6, 7, 800 yards. I mean, some guys have some that'll go further as long as the wind's right. But a dog that'll leave the truck and go, start one, and I like a dog that doesn't bark the whole way. I'd like to send a dog up through the brush, and if they got to go 500 yards, and when they get there, then they open. I do like that.
Why do you need that?
Just so I know exactly what's going on, and you know,
And when to ship other dogs.
when to ship other dogs, kind of gauge it, and how, you know, how it's going versus just a screaming match right off the deal, and
Right.
bear track getting there. Then some dogs are going to get out and not even know what's, you know, there's no bear scent there or whatever. So, and then you know, you've got your different bears. You got some that run, so you got to have some dogs that have some speed, and then you got to have some grit when you get caught up to one. I think in Utah we have some of the toughest bears in the country, and you might have to cold trail that bear for 2 or 3 hours, and then it might give you a run, and then it might bay up, you know, and you'll be 6, 7 hours later before you get the bear caught or harvested or just caught and let go, and whatever we do with them, you know. But you got to have a little bit of everything for a real good bear dog.
And so when you're talking that like 6, 8 hours or whatever, that's why you guys are putting in the work that you do right now to get those dogs in shape, to keep them in shape, to be ready to come, because you can't just take a dog out of a kennel and throw it on the ground and expect it to go cold trail a bear, get it jumped, run it, and then bay it and be back at the rig 8 hours later. That's why you guys you're so diligent on getting and keeping those dogs in such good shape all year. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. And then you know, of course we gauge the dogs. Some dogs aren't as tough as others. And you know, if there's signs that they're not ready for the next day, of course they don't go. But, some, you know, I've had some dogs that are 10 days in a row, and may not to that extent. You know, you might have some easier ones, but they're jumping on the chain every morning, ready to rock and roll. And that dog just wants to go hunting. You know, it ain't sore. It's not ready to stop.
So I'm going to jump to a totally different question, just because what you said just kind of rang a bell in my head. You guys are working to create a heck of a line of bear dogs.
Lion and bear dogs.
I think correct. But I think it would be fair to say, though, you guys already got the lion dogs. You know, I mean, in my opinion, you guys have already got the lion dogs. You got that part covered. It's just making the dogs sufficient bear dogs and lion dogs at the same time. But so a dog that can't go every day, let's say they're all in equal shape, but you have a phenomenal dog that can't go every day, and a really, really good dog that could go every day. Which one are you going to breed to?
Me personally, I mean, there's probably a chance I'd breed to both of them, but the one that is a little weaker, I would make sure I would.
That's not even a fair question, because you guys are both from Utah. In all reality, so
yeah, we breed.
That was just a stupid question. Stupid. Yeah,
but
I shouldn't.
But no, I would breed that weaker. I would just make sure if the little one that wasn't as tough is as tough, I'd breed to a double tough female. And I understand that
you're still going to get
it's not perfect. You might get a weak-footed one still or something, but that's going to be just try to improve it, you know.
So when you guys breed the dogs, and Hunter, could ask you, and Wade, I know you've been breeding dogs for a long time as well, but Hunter's got just decades and decades of family experience breeding dogs. Is that something that you think your family has done throughout time, was to, if you had a dog that was really good at one thing, maybe a little bit weak in this other department, um, you know, I mean, obviously none of us are wanting to breed culls, like,
Yeah.
so, but do you think, like, your family, have they always bred to fix a fault? Like, so when they were picking a male to breed, you had a female that was almost perfect, but she had one little flaw. Were you picking a male to cover that flaw up, or did they pay a lot of attention to that, or how's your
You know,
family bred?
yes and no. So, I mean, everything my family does is mainly on muleback. So we're just toughness is a big deal, and then trailing's a big deal in our country because we have a lot of our country. It's, I mean, if you're on the long end of a line, you better stay on the long or stay with it because your chance of finding another one are some of our country we just don't have the best lion numbers in. So, um, my family's always bred for the best trailing dogs, and it uh, it it started to get to where the tree and the locating. We started lacking on that because we were breeding the best trail dogs to the best trail dogs, and so now when it got to me kind of starting to make my own crosses, I've looked out and tried to get some really good locating dogs, and Wade's dogs really locate good, so it was a good mix that way for us, and still not lose our striking and our cold trailing and dogs that really want to free cast out good. So yeah, I mean, my family's really heavy on the trailing and pushing the track and that. So I think they overlooked some things like the treeing and locating because we'll catch a lion on a ledge, but we got a lot of big firs and pines and stuff too. So the locating's a big deal that I think my family overlooked, but we've got it fixed up pretty good now. Um, but
Good. Good. No, great answer. And I got a listener question here. Somebody wants to know, I won't mention their name, but why do you have a pillow on your lap,
I don't
Hunter?
know. It's a habit. When I sit on the couch, I always got a pillow, just holding
Oh,
it.
okay. I got you. I got you. Good deal. Good deal. No, that was interesting though, because, and it's funny because you'll you'll see different lines here or there that may have been bred for decades and decades that are a little bit weak here or there. And I'm actually in the same boat myself. I'm looking for my own dogs. That's a weakness that I have.
And I think
And
and is locating a weakness for you? Is what you're
yes,
saying?
yes,
And I think
absolutely.
probably clear across the West. I mean, wouldn't you agree that? I mean,
Yeah.
you can't tree what you can't catch. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
and that's the
so
thing. You
I
don't want
think
to sacrifice catching for the treeing
exactly.
ability,
That's
right?
what my dad always told me. You can't tree it if you can't get to it. So
Correct.
the hard
Correct.
part's getting to it. So
Yeah.
treeing's always been like fourth on my list
Right.
um,
Yep. Me
of
too.
traits I really like. But you dang sure, it's pretty frustrating when you catch a lion and you have to go find it for the dogs. You know what I mean? Because I've had
Yeah.
to do her a few times and I don't like
Oh,
it. But
I've done it a lot. I've done it so much that I don't even mind it. I just
yeah,
accept it. It's
yeah,
it's just part of the deal. But I wouldn't trade the dogs that I have
no,
to have stronger tree dogs that were less in the at everything else.
yeah.
You know, so that's but but anyway. So well, heck, when you guys headed over this direction?
We're leaving Wednesday, Wade.
Wednesday.
What's Wednesday? The 14th.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
The
That's a
14th.
12-hour
Yep.
drive for you.
Yeah.
11, 12, something
It
like
is.
that.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's some of the things that when you're going that far away from home, and you guys do it often, you guys are professional hunters. This is what you guys do for a living. What are some of the things that you cannot forget to take with you, even though you guys are coming to a camp where we pretty much have all the amenities that you're going to need or whatever. But what are some of the things that you cannot forget to bring for your dogs when you come?
You can go, Hunter.
I mean, all our medicine and staple guns and all our dog kits and stuff for sure. I mean, of course, all your tracking equipment and all that. But like I said, like you said, um, I mean, you guys have it all. Like the Whitakers, we broke that dog's leg last year, and
Yep.
just us not having our wrap. Luckily, they had it, and they were able to come up and help us.
Yeah.
But just all your dog stuff, and then of course all your equipment, all your first aid stuff for
What would
people,
be
and ropes, backpacks, leashes.
some of the medicines you're going to bring?
I mean, I got Remedol for pain, and then of course your penicillins and stuff like that. A lot of wound care stuff like Vetracine and that kind of stuff.
Why would somebody need those wound care
Man,
deals
them.
to hunt bear?
Well, a lot of it is, I mean, when you're running bears hard and intense down through the trees in the deadfall, I mean, they're jumping deadfall and sticking themselves with sticks. And, I mean, then you get a good bear fight on the ground, and dogs are getting bit in the hindquarters and stuff. You know what I mean? Them bear bites are pretty nasty. So, I mean, me and Wade are still trying to heal dogs up. We got on a pretty rank one. Well, what was it been about 4 weeks ago, Wade? And I mean, we're
Yeah.
still trying to heal bear bites up and stuff. I mean, they're pretty nasty, and if you don't stay on top of them, they could cause some serious problems.
And they're nasty because the bear's mouth is very dirty. They're
Yeah,
eating a
like
lot of
just like
dead
the
stuff.
lion. You know how a lion is too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep that stuff clean and keep them open and keep them draining and keep them
So
from licking them.
the first thing you're going to do when you get a dog bit by a bear or slapped by a bear or whatever, we get back to camp, I'm assuming maybe the penicillin would be one of the first things you're
Yeah,
going to do.
hit them with penicillin and then clean them cuts out, hydrogen peroxide, and then just fill them full of Vetracine, however you say it.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
like
care
to
around
spray
here.
some Neosporin and stuff in with it too if I'm going to sew it up. Just
Yeah.
some antibacterial ointment and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Penicillin though
yeah,
would be.
hopefully we don't have too much of that.
Yeah, no kidding. Penicillin though would be one of the main things that you like. You're gonna have your staples. You're gonna have all that other stuff, but of all the
Penicillin.
injectable medicines that you could give a dog or whatever, penicillin would be probably a staple in your guys' kit. Would that be correct?
Yep.
For sure.
Do you guys
Yeah,
use the Duo pen or the Pen G pen? I don't even remember what it's called.
I bought a big bottle this summer of that Pen G just because that's what we could get. Since it went,
Yeah.
you got to get a vet to get it to you now in our country. I don't know if it's
Right.
I don't know if it's countrywide like that, but
I think it's gone that way, and
yeah.
But they make a penicillin G penicillin. I can't remember what the hell the other letter is, but it's a penicillin that you can give every other day instead of every day. And I've been using it for a lot of stuff for a lot of years. And I don't think it matters. The only difference is you don't have to give the dog a shot every day. You could do it every other day. But yeah, I think that penicillin, it's become hard to get where you used to be able to just get it over the counter anywhere you went.
Yeah.
But Chris, I can tell you're wanting to say something.
Yeah, go ahead. Say something, Chris.
I've been sitting in the background watching comments and stuff, but so let's double down on. I think a lot of the anti-hunting crowd wants to paint us as people that just think dogs are tools. And why do you guys care so much about, caring for your hounds, carrying all these supplies, things like that? Why is that important to you guys to know how to use these different drugs, first aid your dogs? I mean, it seems obvious, but let's just lay it out there. I want to be totally transparent.
Absolutely.
I mean, the hounds to us is a way of life. I mean, it's part of our life. It's what we live for, you know. So we definitely want to care for them the best we can, and also when we're in the woods and stuff, we have to learn how to do this stuff ourselves. Might be hours before we can go to a vet. So the little stuff we got to make sure we can take care of, and a lot of it's a lot more effective if you can do something sooner than later. So versus rushing a dog to town, and you know, I've had dogs get cut bad and not had a staple gun, and the straw and the sawdust was actually worse on healing the wound because they had to get in there and clean all that out. If I would have had
Right.
something on hand, I could have cleaned, you know, sealed that cut up or wound up, and not and saved me a lot of grief and the dog a lot of grief, you know.
That's what
But
always amazes me about, guys that have been there and done that, the houndsmen. I pay attention. It's like these guys are, I mean, short of, removing an obstruction from the bowel where you got to do full surgery.
Right.
Most
yeah,
houndsmen know how to take care of a dog because we put that investment in there up front to know how to stitch. We know when to staple. We know how to. I mean, Mike Cawley knows when to put. That guy really is a vet without a vet degree. He knows when to put a drain in there. He knows how to clean wounds. He knows what antibiotics to use or whatever. And it's amazing, and that says a lot that it's not just a deal where we're just turning dogs loose, go catch a game, and that's all that matters. We care about the
Right.
dog.
Well,
yeah,
I'll add something to what Wade just said. It's not. Yes, these dogs, they're a big part of our life. They're a big part of what we do. They're a big part of our passion, but they're also a way of life. These are what is creating food on the table for families. This is this is how this is how these guys are making a living. And so that dog is an important instrument in their toolbox to be able to make a living. And so it's it's not just a tool. It's they love what they do. They love the dogs. The dogs create them a livelihood, and that's why it's you're so willing to go the extra mile to tend to take care of these dogs. That's why we study like well, Wade actually texted me yesterday wanting to know a remedy for, I don't remember what it was, but hang on, I don't know about that. Let me do some research. So I was on the internet doing research, trying to figure out ways to treat these animals and not and do it in a very fair and very economical way, not having to give every dollar you have to the veterinarian. I think just like you were saying about Mike, I think most of your houndsmen are as good at suturing or as good at doctoring dogs as most veterinarians. And I know there's going to be veterinarians that get mad at me for saying that, but I really do believe that.
Most of the time, who's doing the suturing and stuff like that is a vet tech. So not throwing any shade on veterinarians, but
no, I'm not saying
I get it. But a lot of the serious good houndsmen I know, a vet tech, they're valuable, and I appreciate every one of them. I'm not trying to, but
nor am I.
I guarantee you that the 4 guys sitting in this chat right now and all the guys that are watching this know how to stitch a dog. They know when to staple a dog. They know stuff like that. And the threshold isn't the same. I mean, vet school is hard to get into and
hard to get out of.
It's 100%. 100%. But vets are invaluable.
No, they are. They are absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I guess my point is that most of your houndsmen, and I know like you said,
we're pragmatic. We're
yeah,
practical.
it's
We
very
got to be able to solve
practical.
our own problems.
Correct. And
Yeah.
do it in a place out in the field where, you know, you might be 3 or 4 or 5 hours away from getting to a vet hospital. So
We're like the Navy
learn
Corps. We're like the Navy corpsman for the Marine Corps or the Navy SEALs. We got to
That's
keep
right.
that dog alive till we can get it on the table with an expert. And
Yep.
what I see time and time again out of houndsmen is their ability to do that. And that only takes dedication and research and experience. And there's no, you know, I've got a nephew that's a Navy corpsman. He's attached to a Marine Corps unit right now. And he's been through months of training and all this stuff to learn how he did it. Houndsmen learn this stuff on their own. There's no course out there that's like, how do you become a first responder for a hound dog? We've had to learn that on our own, and that speaks to the level of dedication that we have
And the
for
love
our
for your
lifestyle.
animals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and we're not forcing these dogs to do any of it. They love it. That's another thing, you know, that it's not like we're making them run down a bear track or a lion track. And so it's what they're bred to do, you know, and that's part of their life as well.
In
And
fact,
it's what they want to do.
Wade, I've had people ask me, you know, if a dog doesn't work, you know, I'd love to own it or whatever, and they typically, even if a dog is not too hunting quality or breeding quality for one of us, they still typically don't make a good pet because those dogs still have the hunting desire bred into them where it's going to be hard to keep them home unless you got a really good kennels or really good, you know, something. They're not your lap dogs. They're not your just be in the house dog. These are dogs that are bred to go hunt, and it's in their DNA for years and years and years and years, decades and decades, I would say. And
Yeah.
they're not going to stay home. They're not going to be your house dog. They're not going to be a lap dog. And that's including the ones that don't have the hunting desire of the ones that we want.
Yeah. Well, they're still high strung too. And I mean, they don't, I wouldn't think they would suit well in the backyard just hanging out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not where they want to be.
No, not even the ones that don't work to what we would consider, like you said, breedable and stuff. They still are, they're still a hound dog, and
Right.
they're not, you know. And don't get me wrong, I know some guys that have some in the house and they're pretty well mannered, but still they get a couple weeks off, they get wound up and they
Right.
have to go get them outside, you know, go run them, go do something with them. They get obnoxious in the backyard.
Yeah. 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 A tired hound dog is a better hound dog in my opinion.
Yes. Yep.
But what are some of the things? So if I wanted to be a bear hunter and I was looking to purchase a bear hunt, what would be some of the questions that I should be asking my outfitter, my guide, my whatever? What are some of the things that you guys over the years have determined would be good questions to ask whoever it is you're looking to hunt with?
Go ahead, Wade.
I would say probably the biggest thing Hunter and I push ourselves on is quality. There's lots of outfitters and stuff in the state of Utah, and we personally will go the extra mile and turn down littler bears and pass up tracks. It is hard for us to train in the spring when we get these guys that are drawing these tags because we're turning down tracks that people would love to run. Just even if they run them and let them go, we just move on and we hike canyons and just and try to do a lot of research before we even have people put in to know that there's a couple good boars in the area, and then we'll go sort them out and try to find them, and then I guess we have the color phase that really helps push us in the West. A lot of other some states back east, Canada, you can get a little color, but color is a big thing for us, and then as the dogs just are you just kind of when we turn our dogs loose, we expect them to catch it.
So is that would that be how do you define quality?
I mean, I feel like we have some of the best equipment. We have some of the best hounds, honest people. We have a good group of guys that help us. Our dogs are honest. They help, our dogs are everything, and we keep them true, but we have good, clean camps. Like the Paloma, I mean, it's a higher end group of guys that usually go that we bring there, and the quality's high. Of course, the lodging and the ranch is primo, and the bear hunting is too. And then I feel like with hunters and ours, mine reputation, along with everyone else that's involved, we're top of the food chain when it comes to a place to go bear hunting.
So, Hunter, how would you? Because the question is often asked, what's your success rate? How do you answer a question like that? What is your success rate?
Man, I tell everybody,
or how do you feel about the question?
Well, when everybody asks that, I usually say it's hunting's hunting. I mean, we could go catch 5 boars in the first day. We could go bust our ass and catch 1 sow. You know what I mean? So I always tell them, hunting's hunting. If you want a guaranteed deal, you're looking at the wrong deal. But I mean, it's hard not to say that your success is 100% on the Paloma, because that's what we were last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'd say we're 100 success since me and Wade have partnered up on our bear hunts. I mean, I don't think we've sent one guy home without a bear, have we, Wade? And a boar bear.
Yeah, we had a high school girl give us 2 days this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's right.
things like that. We did catch a bear, but we passed it.
Sure.
And we try to kill strictly boars and tom lions. We try not to kill females or sows. Yep. So, that's kind of what I tell everybody. There's
sure
we have a pretty high success rate, but there's no guarantees in hunting, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah,
we're gonna bust our ass and give everything 100% to try to get you one, but sometimes it don't happen.
Of course.
And I kind of like to just, I mean, the harvest is the gravy on top is how I want to.
Yeah, it's how I want to thrill of the chase, look and at everything else. The dogs, mules.
Yeah, and that's something, like on our elk hunts last year, we were what I would say is we were 100% shot opportunity. And what I mean by that is, for instance, I had a hunter last day in the last minutes of his hunt. I set him up to kill a bull at maybe 300 yards, told him to put his rifle right here. He insisted on putting it over here. I said, no, you need it right here. But he insisted, put it over there. And then once he was set up, hey, can you cut these branches out of my way and this and that? By the time we got all that done, the elk had moved on. But I gave him the opportunity. Had he listened to me, he would have been able to harvest that bull. So that takes us off the, we're obviously not 100% success rate because he didn't kill, but he had a shot at it. That's exactly. So that's a question that I never like to answer, because just like you're saying, I mean, you're going to hunt your ass off, and hunting is hunting, but then too, you have instances where you may pass on an animal or your hunter can't get set up to kill it or whatever. And so, but that's a question that's so often answered or asked by
Oh,
your guys that are looking for a hunt. And you guys
100%.
deal with that a lot.
yeah.
So I was just curious of how you would answer that question, because it is asked
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
so darn often.
Yeah. I always tell them that, we're gonna put all our effort. It's gonna be 100% on the table, and when you leave our hunt, you're gonna know if you didn't have one, you're gonna know we tried the hardest we could for you. And then those
Right.
guys like to come. They usually come back. They see it. They see the work put in.
Yeah.
And usually it's good. And don't get me wrong, there's just people that do want to kill, and that's the only thing that makes it. And
Right.
that's just with the business. You just deal with those people and move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. What would be, if you were calling an outfitter to book a hunt for yourself, and you were asking some questions, could be any questions, what are some of the answers that would instantly put up that red flag for you? If you were asking an outfitter questions and he is answering your questions, and all of a sudden that red flag went up for you, what would be some of those questions? How would he answer them?
Dude, I don't.
A turnoff for me is when guys get telling you how good they are, and I am a hunter successful. You know what I mean? Because I think it was Mike Root said it once. He said some of these guys that say they're 100% successful on every lion hunt or whatever. He says I'd like to be taking what they're taking, because if you've done it as long as he has or some of these other guys, it's
Sure.
it's just not realistic. So I mean, bragging always turns me off. Me and Chris talked about this the other day. And when somebody really gets bragging and telling you how good they are, I mean, I think the best clients there are is word of mouth. When you get buddies telling buddies, and our outfit and Wade's outfit we've been really lucky that way, So,
Yeah.
but
No, I'd agree.
I don't know how to answer your question other than that, Shorty. I mean,
No, I think it's a
I
great
haven't
answer.
talked to a lot of outfitters that way, but
Correct.
word of mouth, like we're going hunting links, and I mean, you talk to a few other houndsmen, and they're like, "Don't go with anybody but this guy." You know what I mean? So,
Right.
word of mouth, I think, is a
Do your
big
research.
deal that way. Yeah, do your research.
And I flew in a helicopter with a couple guys, and this one guy, he was telling me, he says, any pilot that tells you how good of a pilot he is, don't get in that helicopter with him. And so I was actually at Warner and Kelly Glenn's, and this guy flies up in a helicopter, and Warner and Kelly and I are visiting, and he flies up and lands, and he gets out, and he was from a rodeo background, and his son rodeoed and whatnot. And anyways, he recognized me pretty quickly, and what the heck are you doing here? Hell, come get in this helicopter, and started telling me how great of a helicopter pilot he was. I said, no, I'm okay. I get to fly in a helicopter plenty in South Texas and this and that. Oh no, get it. And just telling me how great of a helicopter pilot he was over and over and over again. No, I'm fine. I'm good. I'd rather just sit here and visit with Warner and Kelly and whatnot. Well, about 6 months later, guess who crashed into a mountain?
Yeah.
That guy that thought he was the greatest helicopter pilot of all times. And that's to me, like, I don't care what you're talking about. If somebody tells you how great they are, probably better back out.
Yeah. I think you get a guy that tells you just going to work as hard as he can for you, and the outcome's the outcome. I think that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah, as an outfitter, talking to your client, it's just be honest with them, and then there's nothing you have to cover up or anything like that. Just tell it how it is, and if they book with you, great. If they want to go with a better story, then have at it.
So we had some turkey hunters here from Arkansas. It was a late turkey hunt. They showed up, and everybody's getting in camp. We're getting everybody signed in, whatnot. And, well, Shorty, how's it going to go? I said, it's going to be pretty damn tough, guys. What? I said, look, these turkeys aren't responding to the calls. It's going to be tough. The turkeys are here. There's plenty of turkey here, but this hunt is going to be tough. We're going to have to work our asses off for it. And these guys were blown away right off. They were like, hell, we've never heard a guide tell us that.
Honest.
And I was just trying to be honest with them. But guess who's rebooking with us and wants to rebook for the next 5 years? Those guys. And it was tough. And we killed our turkeys. I think 1 or 2 guys went home with only 1 bird instead of 2 out of the 8. But it was a damn tough hunt. And those guys were so appreciative that I told them that from the get-go. Like, hey, we're going to have to work our asses off. Like, this is not going to be easy.
Sure.
So I think, like you said, Wade, like just being honest with them and straightforward from the get-go is a very, very important thing, because they know you're not trying to bullshit them, you know?
Yeah. It's just easier. You don't have to cover up in the end, you know?
It's like trying to bullshit an undercover game warden, right, Chris?
I'm a narc. I'm
Yeah.
just a narc.
Yeah.
I'm
build
really
the
trying to
profile.
get all you guys on camera and recorded so I can turn this all in a great undercover operation.
You got us.
Huge.
Yep.
You got us.
Yeah, I got you all. Yep, for sure.
Oh,
No, the guys that crack me up are the guys I've been guiding. We actually had an outfitting business set up here in Indiana and guided guys on whitetail and turkey and waterfowl hunts for a few years. And the guys that always crack me up are the ones that want to tell you the stories about training with a Navy SEAL sniper, and then they can't make a shot off a 400-yard rested position. You know, it's like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, if you hire an outfitter and a guide and stuff like that, you're hiring them for their spot and their expertise and
Correct.
their ability to put you in the situation to be successful. You know,
And
everything after that is anything you add to that is just baloney.
no, and I would just say this: don't guide your guide. If Wade or Hunter are
100%.
telling you to do XYZ, do XYZ. Don't try to outthink them. That's what
You
they do.
spent
for a
your
living.
money. You
Yes.
spent your money because you trust Hunter and Wade and Shorty. So when they tell you to do something,
Just
do it. You know,
Right.
if you can do it by yourself, then you don't need
You
us.
Then you wasted your money hiring
Exactly.
these guys. So, yeah. But what? So the acorns are on. I sent you, Hunter, a picture the other day of those.
Yeah,
acorns
look good.
in my hand. Acorns are on.
I'm gonna call Shorty out right now because when I was out there in June, he's like, "We're not gonna have many acorns this year." And I was looking
Well,
at him, I'm thinking, "Those are freaking acorn buds, dude."
Well,
I've been asking him for a while, and he just says, "Well, there's some." I thought maybe he
Well,
was jacking with me.
no, I don't want to be. I don't want to get. I can tell you, it's not as good. It's not as good as it was last year before the hailstorm. We had.
Oh, I bet that was awesome.
Last year was going to be a banner year. It was a banner year in this country as far as the rainfall goes. Leo Quintanilla, owner of the Paloma Ranch, he told me he hadn't seen it like that since the 80s. So it was a banner year. Right before bear season, we got a hailstorm. I think it was August 12th or something like that. We got a hailstorm, knocked everything down. So, but we do have some. But I don't want to.
It didn't just knock the acorns off. It dented every truck you got, every metal roof on that ranch. I mean, that was an epic hailstorm.
It was. It broke
windows
on 4 trucks, broke the windows on my house, damaged all the roofing structures on everything, which was a lot of damage.
I've already decided I'm gonna go ahead and pony up for one of those, those structures that go right there. We're gonna put it right on the end of Casita number 2, where it's just a little carport where I can just pull my truck under there because that hail comes without warning.
Yeah, when them clouds start building, you better get them under cover.
Oh my gosh, it's awesome.
Yeah. So, but no, it's so far it's looking pretty decent as far as the acorns go. Been getting bears on camera quite frequently all over the ranch. So, when you guys come,
how's
go
that
ahead.
little dog? How's that little dog doing that I got from Hunter out there?
Oh, the one the skunk dog?
The skunk dog, yeah.
Yeah. No, he's a trailing machine.
And he's a number 1 skunk dog.
He's a trailing machine, man. I was
We don't
going
have
down
skunks in Utah, Chris.
County Road. And
That's off game.
he hits the track, and well, they all kind of bugged out and started looking, and they hit.
You knew where we're gonna let this slide, Hunter.
No, we're not letting it slide, Hunter. Zeus hits that track off to my right, so it's going to be to the east, and goes maybe 40 yards, crosses the road, going to the west, goes up toward the pines. You guys know where the pines are. And it's trailing, and I'm thinking, not sure what we're trailing here. But anyways, it was cold track, but nothing else was opening on it. And next thing
I can't believe that.
No.
Those other trashies.
Oh, well, they all got involved.
It must have been too cold of a track for them plots.
It was cold. Yeah, it's too cold for the plots. So, but anyhow,
that's an A1 skunk trailing dog.
It's a 11-hour skunk track.
Cypress comes across. Cypress hits the track. She opens. They get to going. About that time, Diablo's coming around, and he runs into it, and they're all opening, and I'm thinking, oh, we're about to get this animal jumped.
You got validation by the plots.
Wasn't sure. Yes. Yeah, because if they can smell it, I mean, it's going to be right there.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
So anyhow, then next thing you know, they sit down and go to tree, and I'm thinking, there was no jump race. So, well, maybe it's a bobcat or a lion, which was what I was hoping, because that's what I was hunting for, is lion, because that's all we can hunt here right now is lions. So anyways, I go back around through the lodge, go back up and make the hike. It was a whole 220 yards, but it was terrible. It was pretty rough,
brutal.
Pretty steep country. And anyways, hike in there, and I've never done it in my life, but we had a skunk in a rock pile. It was awesome. I was so proud of them.
They handled good.
Are you sure it weren't a lion that got sprayed by a skunk?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Hunter, because when I was walking up, I was like, I smell a skunk, and I was like, well, I've caught lions that have been sprayed by skunks. In fact, the hunt that I went on with Warner Glenn, we caught a lion. He was sprayed by a skunk, and that was the only reason we know he was in that rock pile, because I could smell him.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, hell, there's a chance. And then I get in there and I'm like, there's no real trees in here. It's just small trees. So, okay, I keep going. Well, then I get to where I could see the dogs, and they're all barking down. Well, maybe it's in a hole. I went over there and looked, and I couldn't even fit my head in one of those holes, but I smelled the hell out of a skunk.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, you want to hit some of these questions? You want to address some of these questions? I think a couple of them are pretty good.
What you got?
Let's put this one up right here.
All
right. Hunter and Wade, I think you guys could hit this.
There you go. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Well, I know. Wait, hang on. I can tell you, Chris, because we were just talking about plots, but I do know that Wade is a plot man. He had a plot out here last year.
He'll be
that he
there.
was in love
So,
with.
Everybody's
and-
got to
and-
have one. You love to
Well,
hate
my-
them, but everybody's got to have one.
So most of my dogs I can trace back to 1950, and it was George Ney. He's a government hunter up here in northern Utah, and then I went to work for his son Bruce Ney, and in 1980, Cap Atwood gave Bruce Ney a little plot for his wedding present, him and his wife's wedding present. That was put into their line, and then in the 60s, Bruce started hunting with Hal Mecham, and anyways, I went to work for Bruce and met Hal through Bruce, and they made collided with some dogs and made crosses, and that's what my blood is. And till now, I've worked summer hunter stuff into it, but just mixed grade dogs for as far back as you could be. Just what worked for them.
There's no particular breed then.
No. No, I brought in you could breed a blue dog and a red dog, and you could get you could get every color of ours. You could breed 2 red dogs and get black and tans and throw a plot in there, a blue dog. So you never, color. I personally just keep the red and white ones. And when it does throw a good looking plot pup, I keep it too. And then since we've been breeding with Hunter, we get some of that white stuff in there.
Why do you keep the red and white ones?
I just like them. I just like the looks of them. That's just my love.
So it's just purely a color thing. There wasn't a dog. Yeah. There wasn't a dog somewhere back in there that was red and white that you thought the world of that made you like that. It's just you just like that color.
Yeah, I just like it. I mean, shoot, one of my first good dogs. She was a little black and tan, a little high tan female, and I mean, I loved her, and I'd love her back in my pack today. She knew more about lion hunting than I did. I'd love to have her back, but I take her back in red.
I've thought about that often, and then I ask myself, do you think in today's pack of dogs that she would be as good as you thought she was, or would she be inferior to the dogs that you're raising now?
Yeah, she was. I wonder that because everyone says, a lot of people's dogs don't get good and famous until they're dead, right?
Right. Yeah,
but,
exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, I think she would cold trail with some of them, but she probably wouldn't have the speed that some of mine had. But she was a really hard tree dog, and she could cold trail good, but probably cold trail overnight tracks good, where I've got some that'll work an older track, but I didn't have the ability. I wasn't smart enough, just couldn't work them old tracks out, I mean, I had to dragging roads, and for sure I needed an overnight track right there when I first got going to do much good with it, So yeah, I would say my dogs have gotten colder. And it's also the way I train them now. There was a gentleman I hunted with come to New Mexico when we had a bunch of bear hunters years ago, and had the exact same bloodlines of dogs of mine. And I watched his cold trail. We cold trailed across the mesa, and half my dogs didn't even know. Well, none of them for a long time knew what was even going on with dogs related to them.
Correct.
I just didn't ever put them. His dogs worked colder tracks. That's what he enjoyed to do. And anyways, I can do it now because I train mine to do it that way, and I make them work those older tracks.
Right.
We work down them, but so yeah, I would say today I have colder dogs, but I focus on that more than I did back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hunter, can you put a breed on your dogs? Are they all purebred?
No, they're all just mixed breed. But my grandpa got some dogs from Charlie Tant, which they're kind of the running style type hounds like yours, and then Jack Butler and Bird Emmett and Smoke Emmett is where most of our dogs come from. And then we just started mixing them together, and a little bit of Papered Walker. My grandpa's throw it in there throughout the years, but other than that, they're just all mixed up dogs.
So would you say your family over the years has bred just the best of the best?
The best of the best, yeah.
And you still are you still doing that? You guys still doing that?
Still doing that. Yep.
Yeah.
And like we talked earlier, I mean, some of the cross I made, I've been focusing a little on the tree in and not so much
Sure.
the trail in, but the trail in's there. So, but yeah, best of the best for the most part.
Yeah. I think that was, if you were to describe the Southwest lion and or bear hound, I think that would be, I don't think you could put a breed on any one of them.
No, there's
I
not.
think it
There's
would be,
not really any papered stuff that I know of.
yeah, just, it doesn't matter who you talk to. Most of your successful old time lion and bear hunters have just always bred the best of the best. It didn't matter what color it was, other than to Wade, because Wade likes the red and whites.
Yeah,
I like them.
So,
but I've got every color at the house.
Have you got a Yog color?
Yog Terrier. Know what that color is. No.
Yog Terrier? Tough
no,
color?
I don't have any Yog Terrier, but I got the same
color. We're going to put some in there.
One of these days we'll get Hunter to breed one of his white dogs to my plot, but he won't do it. He cusses her.
Oh yeah, what do you call that plot?
Nina.
Cute little female.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think her and that little Yog that'd be a, what would you call that?
100%.
Yog, what would you call that breed? If it was a Yog plot cross.
Yog plot.
Yeah,
killers.
Yeah.
They'd kill something.
A plog.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing about it, they'd be gritty. That little dog doesn't know how small he is.
Yeah.
100%. I found something out about, I didn't know how Tough would handle a bear on the ground, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a sissy about him. He's my buddy. He's my running mate. But we caught a bear on the ground and had all the big hounds. It was amazing, man. It was cool. Caught this bear on the ground. He was just darting in and out. By the time that bear knew what hit him, he was spinning around. He was so focused on the bigger dogs, he didn't even see Tough, because Tough would go in and hit him, and that bear would spin, and all he could see was big dogs in front of him. So then he was just focused on them. By that time, Tough was already coming in from the other side and hitting him again. And it's like, all right, this is pretty cool.
And he's a bona fide dirt lion dog as well. And so now that we
had to tree that lion for Hunter's dog, the dog that came from Hunter. July 1st, and I'm turning one of Hunter's dogs out, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll catch a dirt lion. And I went ahead and put Tough down because he always rides in the front of the buggy. And Tough had to tree that thing. It was embarrassing, Hunter.
There's a reason you have him and I don't anymore.
It's embarrassing, but you got him.
Yeah, that's right.
You got him and I don't. No,
that little dog, he's for real. You guys want to throw up another question real quick?
Yeah, let's have it.
All right. And Van Johnson waited in on this. I sent Van a text. I was like, okay, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
this is a follow-up answer from the Van Johnson, but you guys give yours first.
I'll go ahead and go first. I'll be the guinea pig. You guys can follow up, so I'll be the dummy. But I would disagree with that, and I'll tell you why I disagree with that, because what we were talking about, and jokingly, skunk dogs, but I've actually had dogs catch skunks and reek of smelling like skunk, and then be able to go catch a bobcat right after that, like horribly reek. And so if a skunk smells as bad as it does to me, how well can a dog smell that? But their ability to be able to go ahead and go catch a bobcat in South Texas in dry conditions, which is in my opinion one of the toughest game animals to catch, is the South Texas bobcat, especially in the summertime, which is what time of year it was. And to be able to go do that, I don't think pine shavings can do a damn thing to a dog's nose, personally. And besides that, if you and Chris, you probably, well, I know you have way more experience, way more knowledge than this, but they say a dog can differentiate 18 different smells at the same time. So they don't smell a hamburger or a cheeseburger. They smell the bun, the lettuce, the cheese, the burger, the bun, the onions, the tomatoes, everything. They smell it all individually. So I personally, I don't think there's no way in hell that pine shavings could plug up a dog's nose.
Yeah, I think they need to, no matter what's in the box, sometimes it takes a dog just a minute to clean his nose out when you get him out, a few puffs and stuff, and then whatever. I mean, I just think they clean out and can start trailing. But I've got a 1 year it was early in November. We had a little bit of snow, really come with some rain. It was wet. Anyways, I was going up this road and my truck wanted to slide into this ditch, and it finally slid into it and jarred the whole truck good. And then we got stuck, and I jumped out to see how bad it was. And I noticed right before that I'd went under a big, huge cedar tree. And then I worked this hill a little bit and fell or got in that ditch. Anyways, when I got out, I could smell my gas jug flipped up there, and it was about half gone and was pouring out. So I flipped it up and got it up, and I looked in there, and I just smelled fumes coming out of my dog box. Ran around, opened the door, and not one dog come out. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, still a little dark. I throwing dogs out, and they're hitting the ground, and they're just laid out. And it was my first hunter of the year. I thought I was going to kill them all. I mean, they're gassed out. Anyways, about 10 minutes, they started coming to and coming around there, and I got all that sawdust and stuff cleaned out of there and went home, took the rest of the day off, and we caught and killed the tom lion the next day with those same dogs. So no side effects of any of it, but at one time I had 11 dogs just laying on the ground. 2 more minutes, I think I'd have killed them.
I'll bet you was
Pretty
nervous.
crazy. What was it? I don't put my dog cans up there no more.
Right.
Or my gas cans, you know what I mean? That would have been that'd have been a loss. First lion hunter of the year, and had 15 or so more to go. It would have been a rough winter.
Yeah.
So and they, I mean, I'm hunting some of dogs today that was involved in that. So it never, and I thought how crazy that was, is how good they could smell. What was that to them, Like I'd have thought it would have fried everything in them, but no,
right.
Zero side effects.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy deal.
Hunter, you got any opinions on it?
I'm kind of with Shorty and Wade. I mean, I use straw and pine shavings in our horse racks and our truck dog boxes and stuff, and I've never seen it, but a lot of the time we unload and we ride an hour before we hit something or something,
Mm-hmm.
But I would agree with them guys on that.
And I think, Chris, too, like a lot of this stuff, these theories like this, or that a dog has to adapt to a different country or whatever. I haven't seen that either. Like my good dogs in this country are good dogs anywhere I've taken them, and I've taken them from the swamps in Florida to here in New Mexico, Arizona, California. The good dogs are good dogs, and I think sometimes things like this are excuses. I really do. I think it's excuses for dogs that aren't adequate dogs. They're just, they're just not. And people, well, this dog's got to adapt to this country. It'll take a few days. That's BS. That dog's probably just junk. And I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings, but I'm being honest with you. And I hope you take that to heart, that I am being honest with you. I'm not being mean. That dog's probably just junk, because if it does take them that long to adapt, they weren't the dog that you thought they were. And so anyways, I think questions like this, and I appreciate the hell out of the question, Anthony. But I think a lot of people feed us this stuff from time to time, making excuses for their dogs because they're not performing like they think they should perform, or like they think you should think they should perform.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You know, that there's an actual term for that. It's called nose fatigue. And just keep that term in mind. So people, human beings, experience what's called nose fatigue. If you get in if you're picking up your date and she's wearing perfume and she gets in the truck and you ride down the road, 5-10 minutes down the road, you don't even recognize the perfume anymore. Subliminally you do, but your nose, it's not overwhelming. If you walk in the house and grandma's cooking cornbread, you smell the cornbread. 5 minutes in the house, you don't smell the cornbread anymore. Dogs are hardwired. That nose is so amazing. It's something that we can't comprehend. We've got several things out there in studies, and people have studied this, like Nate Hall from Texas Tech, that have spent $11 million on studying a dog's nose, that will be able to explain it much better than me. But here's the deal. A dog's nose never gets tired because so much of their brain is dedicated to that olfactory sense, their ability to scent. A dog's nose is facing forward. We see with our eyes. A dog sees the world through its nose. They can smell two different things at one time and be able to interpret that, out of each side of its nose. I mean, it's unbelievable how much a dog is able to use its nose. 80%, at least 80% of its brain is dedicated to that nose. So to think that hauling a dog around in pine shavings and it's not going to be able to rig a bear, it's not going to be able to smell a track or whatever, it's just like you said, it's an excuse. I come up with them every day. I have got to have a lot of them.
Me too. But you got to be honest with yourself too. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm just making excuses for my sorry ass dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us another question. I like this.
Well, Anthony's kind of baiting us here because he already knew the answer to his own question.
Yeah.
And he's actually trying to get an answer so he can go back to that buddy that said that the bedding was messing up their nose and say, "See, I told you so."
Yeah.
That's what Anthony's up to right there.
Yep. Anthony, good job. You were right, Anthony.
Yeah.
You were right. Yep.
Yeah. So questions are, when they come up, we can get to it. But if we don't get any more, then we'll move on.
Heck yeah. Yep. What are you guys looking forward to the most coming here next week?
Seeing you.
Yep.
Oh shit. You're so full of shit.
Imagine getting your autograph.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Right.
I bet. I mean, the atmosphere there is, I mean, it's awesome. And then going down the road, 5
County
minutes
road,
and having a bear rigged, you know what I mean? That's just not many places you can go do that. I was telling Wade after last year, I said, it makes me not even want to hunt bears in Utah anymore, because how rich the environment is over there.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we only went down that road, the county road, like maybe 4 times that we didn't rig a bear, and that was like in the afternoon.
Yeah,
it was already hot. We were already done, headed home or whatever. But I think it was only maybe 4, maybe 5 times, I don't know, that we drove down that road and didn't rig one. But we also got, I don't know, I don't remember who our chef was here last year. But this year we've got Carlos Casanova.
It was Carlos last year.
Was it Carlos?
The barbecue champion.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, we'll have
good.
Carlos Casanova back. He's, I believe, a 3-time world champion brisket cook. So it's going to be great food again.
He didn't make one bad meal. I know that.
No, weather's going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
For me on the ranch, I love just going, and I love walking into the little bar area and just looking out the window and looking at that view. That's my very first thing I do when I get there is just admire where we're at, and how cool a place this is.
Yep. No, it's a peaceful, beautiful place. Are you guys going to stop by the Hot Six on the way here or on the way back?
We're probably going to come down through Farmington just because they got a bunch of construction there in Gunnison. We'll probably go home that way and stop there and get a few things done. But I think on the way down we'll head this southern route.
I got you. And that's another absolutely spectacular ranch. What do you guys hunt there on the Hot Six Ranch? Just for people that don't know.
Elk's our main deal. We do mule deer. We have antelope and lions and bears.
You can come by.
But we drove by. We pulled in, but Chris and I pulled in there, and we tried to ring the doorbell, but they run us off.
Nobody's home.
Yeah, no.
On the way back from the hounds banquet, or
yes,
yeah, we tried to stop in there.
You should have.
Oh, and hey, speaking of the houndsman's banquet, United Houndsmen, or whatever it is, Colorado. You guys both came to that banquet from Utah. Why?
Yeah.
Why did you guys feel that was important to show up there?
You want to go ahead, Wade?
It's a call. I mean, I don't want to see any stay. I mean, we
don't want the Whitakers in our backyard.
We went to support. We went to support them this year with the fight that they have, which we should have been supporting them. And if they win it, we're still going to go support the Colorado Houndsman Association, But we went to just show our face and help them fight the fight, because Colorado, we don't need to see any state lose the hunting and the ability to just enjoy these hounds in the woods. And
bottom line,
it's a lifestyle.
I mean, we could be next. You could be next, Shorty. I think as Western houndsmen clear across the board, we all got to support each other and do whatever we can to help. And we both hunt Colorado for lion too, so it's a bit. This fight's a big deal to both of us.
Do you think, though, you guys are in the outfitting business? You guys hunt everything. Do you think it's just houndsmen that need a houndsman, or do you think
no? It's big game hunters. I mean, unfortunately, we're all kind of divided. But I mean, in this situation, we all need to come together and have each other's backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've heard two different numbers, between 20 and 30,000 of hunting people that are hunters did not vote
on the wolf deal
against the wolf. Colorado needs every hunter, whether you hunt a jackrabbit or anything, you need to vote against the bill, because your whatever you hunt could be next. I mean, who knows what Colorado will do?
And it sounds like, as far as I know, they barely lost the wolf deal
by 20
like 0.8% is what the wolf initiative. I'll give you a crazy. This ought to wake some people up. 26% of hunters are even registered to vote. 26%. So when you take that number, 26%, you got to figure in the deer, the elk, other forms of hunting. So houndsmen absolutely have to show up and vote in November, on November 5th, against Initiative 91 in Colorado. And even if you're not a houndsman, you need to show up and vote against it, because the way this ballot initiative, there's so many things that are wrong with this thing. For one thing, we're allowing the general public to show up and vote on something that they have no understanding of. In our capital city, the Indy 500 happens every May. I don't get a vote on parking there. I don't live there. I've got no vested interest in that. I don't know anything about it, and I shouldn't vote or have a say in that. So it's the same thing in my mind about this hunting thing. It's like, why are we using ballot box biology to decide what's best for our wildlife? The people in this room, the people watching this podcast, we have got a vested interest in this. We've got billions of dollars since the beginning of the North American model that we've invested into wildlife. So when people tell me that hunters don't care about wildlife or we only care about hunting, we're paying for the wildlife so that the guy in the Subaru can drive into Rocky Mountain National Park and see an elk. I mean, that's what it really boils down to. So it's absolutely imperative, important. I can't stress it enough that if you're not registered to vote, that you're registered to vote and have a say in this.
Well, I think it's important to, like you said, be registered to vote and make sure your dead grandmother and your dead grandfather and all your dead relatives vote. I mean, we got to play the game that they're playing. Let's make sure all of our dead relatives vote. Just don't let them vote Democrat.
And the killing won't stop. I mean,
that's exactly right, Wade.
The state will still do what they have to do, but they will lose the whole economic effects of hunters coming for the licenses, the outfitter trickling all down through the mom and pop stores, whatever, the restaurants, the taxidermists. It's a huge hit across the whole state, and the killing won't stop. The lions will just be killed and thrown in dumpsters, whatever Wildlife Services has to do. That's what will happen.
And so right now, Wade, we're under stipulations by the law that we have to take that animal out and prepare it for human consumption. And it's a hunter like you or Hunter or myself or Chris that's going out and paying for a license and a tag, that's going out and taking this animal and keeping and using most everything that's available on the animal.
By law. And now if this deal passes, it's going to go from you, the four of us, buying a tag, going out and taking an animal, using it for human consumption, to taxpayers paying an individual hired by the state to go out there, take this animal, leave it to rot. Nothing's being used, and it's all on taxpayers' dollars. Instead of somebody paying to go use this beautiful, beautiful resource and enjoy it, it's going to go to waste and to rot and to everything on the taxpayers' dollar. And that's what disgusts me.
Yeah. Yep. No, you couldn't said it any better than that right there.
No. And with the use of hounds, you can judge the animal and you can choose to harvest it or let it go. You know, it's the most ethical way to hunt a lion or a bear. So
correct.
They need to
explain that. Explain that. So why can a houndsman? Why does a houndsman have the ability to judge the age, the physical health, everything? Why can a houndsman do that better than any other? And I'm not trying to throw any other hunting practice under the bus.
No, yeah, I understand.
Why does the houndsman have that ability?
We have the ability to get the dogs and walk away. You know, when
you're up close, personal. I mean, you got every look you need at the animal. I mean,
what are you looking at?
I mean, you can tell if a female's wet. Like you said the other day, go look at Cody's post he made on that wet female. You know what I mean? And that's across the canyon. You wouldn't even have a slight clue what that is, or I mean, you wouldn't even be able to see it. So, and same with a bear too. I mean, you can't, unless them cubs are following her, you can't tell if she's nursing cubs or if she's, you know what I mean, got yearlings with her still or whatever. I mean, everything looks bigger on the ground. And with the aid of hounds, I mean, you can get up and close and personal and check everything out with the animal before you decide to take it. And like Wade said, if you don't, you call your dogs and walk away.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and on the other side is Utah. They've opened it wide open, and us houndsmen are not. We want management put in place because we don't agree with a free for all. You can shoot a lion. You don't even have to have a hunting license right now, or that's all you have to have. You don't have to have a tag, just a hunting license.
What?
And
The only
just shoot a lion.
the only thing you can't take is female with kittens, but you can snare. You can snare a lion, and
You can
so
trap and
how? I mean,
snare,
the
so
snare
there's
don't
no
know if a
regulation
female's
there.
got 2 kittens.
So why don't
glass
why don't you agree with it? Why are you why fight against it?
because we need management. It's not fair for the dang lions to just get
As
slaughtered
houndsmen,
like
we
they
want
are.
the healthiest lion population as we can have.
Yeah.
Because without lions, I mean, we're all out there for our dogs and for the experience of being in the mountains. You know what I mean? It's nothing about killing a lion or nothing. So the more lion tracks we see, the happier we are as houndsmen. I mean, we know there's got to be that healthy balance, but
Yes. And I'm in pretty tight with these livestockmen here above town here. Cedar City Valley brings about 45 to 50,000 head of domestic sheep up there, and one of probably I think he's a 3rd generation. They run 8,000 head of sheep, and he told me one just the other day. He said, man, I hate to see what they've done to you, because he said I've hated lions my whole life, but he said but now that it's a reality, just to kind of want him gone. He said, I hate to see him go, because he respects me enough, and he doesn't want to see me have to leave to go make my living somewhere else. He wants he he hates predators because he's a sheep guy, but at the same time, he doesn't want he wants to find a balance as well, because he wants guys like me to stay here and continue a living as well.
Is
And that meant a lot to me.
is a lionless ecosystem a healthy ecosystem?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think at all.
No.
They've cut our, and the state knows it as well. They've cut our lion numbers down. They know they're down to help our deer population grow. Well, this is a 2-year process, so this has been going on for 2 years, this wide open deal. This year, statewide, they just substantially increased the deer tags, but Utah's all about an opportunity. So they just raise tags on shooting young deer. Deer hunters want big deer too. So if we're gonna knock the lions back, let's keep the deer tags back, let that deer population grow. But they know, I think they just don't want that many deer on the landscape, so they're gonna open up more tags.
Yeah, so I was saddened when I heard what they did. But anyways, I think it's obvious, and I heard a Mark Elbrock was his name. I've heard several podcasts with Mark Elbrock. Mark Elbrock is the leading biologist for the Mountain Lion Foundation, and Mark Elbrock actually commented on several podcasts, different podcasts, that houndsmen were the biggest ally of the mountain lion, because when they did things like they did in Utah, the houndsmen were the group of hunters that stood up and fought shoulder to shoulder with the Mountain Lion Foundation to keep that from happening. And I think that's huge kudos to us as conservationists, to us as houndsmen, to you guys for what you do in the daily life you live, and but anyways, I wanna let you guys go here pretty quick, but and then come back next weekend, next Sunday, same time, same place. We'll be right here in the lodge, and we'll have some really good hunting stories by then, I hope. Hopefully Hunter catches another one in a cave and we can push Mario in there and get his side of the story. Hopefully we can get some other cool stuff. But anyways, we'll have a recap, not a recap, but we'll have some more stories from the same guys, same place next week, same time. I just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being conservationists of wildlife throughout the whole United States, not just in your country. Thanks for fighting for Colorado when you're from Utah, and just for being the great stand-up gentlemen that you both are, and great houndsmen. Where can people find you guys? Are you guys on social media or whatnot?
Yeah, we appreciate that, Shorty, and me and Wade both appreciate you and Chris and all you guys do for houndsmen, because we know how much time you guys spend and are fighting the good fight. So, but yeah, we're both on social media. We're me and my dad are Mecham Outfitters, and you can find that on social media and Facebook, Instagram and Facebook. But Wade,
I just have I own Pine Valley Outfitters, and I have a deal there, but I post just most of my stuff on my personal, just Wade Hollerman.
Good deal.
Yep.
Well, yeah, guys, I'll let you guys go. It's getting late. Thanks again so much. And
Thank you, guys.
thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you
Thanks,
in a couple
Hunter.
days.
if
Chris,
y'all
thanks,
need
buddy.
anything before you get here, holler at me. Let me know. Other than that, I'm looking forward to a good 1.25 inch ribeye steak as soon as you guys get here. So
They're awesome.
hurry,
Yeah,
hustle
yeah.
up and get here.
Just get out of
Thanks,
the way
guys.
and let Shorty cook.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right.
Y'all,
Thanks.
y'all have a good night. Thanks again.
See you. Bye.
Shorty, let's wrap this one up, man. That was a good interview with Hunter and Wade for sure.
Oh, those guys are so easy. They're so cool. And Chris, those guys, like, because you've been here and you've hunted with them, they are such the real deal hunters. They're mountain men. They're tough. They get through this country like water sliding down. They just
like
they're-
water.
Yeah, they're unbelievable houndsmen. They're unbelievable guys, and phenomenal hunters, and just easy to be around, easy to talk to. That was fun to get to talk to them. I'm looking forward to getting them here in camp.
They're
And
just fun dudes to be around. I mean, we had a blast with them at UHC, at the banquet there in Gunnison, and they're just good dudes. Hunter's a keeper, and horses, hounds, and mules. That was a good time too.
Yeah, and that that's a cool thing though, and I think it people ought to get the importance when you got houndsmen coming from Utah, from all over the country to go support the United Houndsmen of Colorado, and that kind of stuff. I think it shows the importance of it, because they were taking money out of their pocket to go there and to go do that. But they did it willingly. They did it gladly. And they'll always be there to fight the good fight for houndsmen in America.
100%. 100%.
So, well, good deal, man. Well, I'm gonna go eat some of this sauerkraut behind me here and call it an afternoon.
I hear you, man. Tell Inga I said good nobbing.
Inga, Chris says good nobbing. I don't know where she went. Anyways, I'll tell her. I'll tell her when she gets back. But
all right,
nope.
Take care. We'll see you next week, Shorty.
Sounds good. We'll be from the lodge next week, because we should be having a new Starlink, so I won't have to come down to Inga's or to Whitaker's or any of that. We should be able to do it from the lodge with that new Starlink. So.
There you go. All right.
All right.
See you next week.
Have a good night. Adios.
That was a good conversation, man.
Oh, I thought, yeah.